Hey, Michaela.
Hey Heather, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Angie's here too. We were just on another. Hey, Angie. I've got two going. Angie, I decided to ch change into something pink. Okay, so I'm gonna actually rename this one. This one. Hey, Gord.
Hi.
How you doing?
Really good. It's hot here though.
Yeah. Do you know that I lived in Vernon?
No, I did not know that.
My sister lives there. She's sending me photos from the pool at a
Ha.
friend's house today. Okay, so are you gonna be sharing as well, Gord?
No, I'm not. I did all these great slides and then I decided I didn't want to use them, but I'll share them in the chat.
Okay. Hi, Alice. Hi, Susan. Welcome, everyone. We're just getting ourselves organized here. Um,
Oh my.
so, okay, good. Thanks, Michaela. And I'm just gonna make sure.
Hi, Susan.
Hey, Gord, good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I know, no kidding. We're halfway through July in 2026.
Yeah.
We need to catch up.
Yes, we do. That would be next week or two, perhaps, if you like.
Sounds good. Sounds
Hi,
good.
Sharon. Welcome. Mary, Marcia or Marcia. Is Michaela, do you know if Sarah's joining us today, or is this the one she's out of town?
I believe she's out of town for this one.
Okay. And Cheryl, of course, is in a different time zone.
Yes.
So it's all on me and you
Yes.
and
So,
Gord.
so I can tell stories about Sarah then.
Yeah, you can tell about anybody.
One thing else.
Oh, right. I'm supposed to.
This can sit up for a few minutes.
Okay, and I'm supposed to put my background. Gord, do you have a background you're going to put on? Angie. I don't, I'm
You're
not going to.
muted, Gord.
I'm just gonna use the background I've got. I'm with my
Yeah, me too.
background and
I
that
don't,
Mexican
I don't
page.
like how they kind of blur in and out.
Yeah, and it makes my hair look really crazy.
And we can't have that. So how are you, Alice? What time is it for you?
It's 7 in the morning. I'm
Oh,
good.
good. This is the good time for you.
Hmm.
Yes, yes, better than the midnight sessions.
Yeah, Alice is our dedicated all-nighter who shows up whatever time of day it is. Ooh, hi, Jan. Hi, Gail. So, oh, good. We're still got a few minutes before we hit the top of the hour. Um, uh, Tell me where you're calling in from. So I know where Gord is in Vernon, BC, right? Susan, you're in Vancouver, correct?
I'm in Vancouver. Yep, you bet. BC.
Yeah. Yes, BC. Angie's in normally Saskatoon, but in Lethbridge, right? Where's everyone else calling in from?
I'm from Grover Beach, California.
Nice. Have you been on these calls before, Gail?
This is my first one in a long time.
Oh, great. And are you a GAB instructor?
No, I'm not, but I did a couple of the classes. It's been nearly a decade ago.
Wow. Well, welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Where else do we have people calling from? Yeah, Marcia.
I'm from Laguna Woods, California, and I'm an instructor.
Great. How long have you been teaching?
A couple of years.
Great. Who else do we have? Hi, Sharon. It looks like you're on the beach.
Zoom.
You're muted. Where are you calling from? Sharon?
Sorry, I'm from Newcastle, Delaware,
Oh,
and this,
great.
that's a nice backdrop picture. It's a photo, not there
Yeah,
at the moment.
I know. And are you a GAB instructor?
I am not an instructor. I will be taking the class in September on Tuesdays, but I did take I did one session of the GAB workshops.
Great. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who else wants to unmute and tell me where you're located?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Heather. I am in Costa Rica. Alicia. I think you're in Mexico, Heather.
I am, and
Ah,
I uso mi nombre Alicia también, Heather Alicia.
es verdad.
Yeah, tocaya, mi tocaya.
Es
Well,
verdad.
welcome. Nice to see you again. I remember you from another session.
Sí, gracias.
Alicia, my
Yeah.
son lives in Costa Rica.
Oh, really?
So what part of Costa Rica are you in?
I am in close to Panama. It's the Caribbean side. Limón, Puerto Viejo. It's kind of Limón. Where is your son?
He's in Guanacaste in the
Sí.
Pacific coast. So
It's the
little,
other
yeah.
side. Really cool.
Where are you calling from, Jan? Welcome.
Cambridge, Mass.
Okay. Hi, Jane. I saw Jane pop in and pop out. Jane's in the same town as I am here in Mexico. Nice to see you.
Hi, sorry, I'm lying down, so I turned my video off.
Oh, it's okay. I think if some of us were lying down before the call for sure. Who else is here that you would like to say hello and tell us where you're calling from?
This is Susan Davis. I'm from Spokane. I took a class or three down in Orlando this last winter, and so just was more curious about the program.
Great. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Somebody else put up their hand. They were gonna.
Oh.
Oh yeah, Kath, go for it.
Hi, I'm Kath. I'm in Australia, and I did the GAB training at the end of last year with Heidi and Steve. So I'm very tentatively putting my foot out. I've done one Zoom with a couple of friends, and I'm about to hopefully get a face-to-face going.
Good for you, Kath. And what time is it for you right now?
It's 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Not too, that's a very reasonable time.
Yeah, it's very reasonable. It's very frosty here, frosty and cold, but sunny.
Oh, right. You got your winter going on. Hey, Barbara and Tony and Sheila. How are
Hi.
you doing?
Hello. Doing well.
Good. And Barbara, you're good?
Yes, yes, good to see you all.
Yeah. So we'll get started. We have a full program today. As you'll see, Michaela has put up a new protocol that we're going to keep reminding people that this session's being recorded and will be published on the Barron Center's YouTube channel and other platforms as part of the educational resources. By remaining on this call, you consent to being recorded and to the potential public sharing of this session. If you have any concerns, you're welcome to turn off your camera and change your name, make an alias, or leave the session. And we completely understand, but just so you're understanding. So Michaela, if you want to take that one down, that would be great. Oh, great. Now I can see everyone. So what these sessions are, the GAB Chat is a monthly opportunity for individuals to connect within the the GAB community. So the guided autobiographical teacher, instructors, students, anyone who wants to join. It's open to everyone. We do it on the third Wednesday of every month, and we alternate between an afternoon session and an evening session in North American times, so that people like Alice and Kath can join us and not stay up all night. So next month's GAB chat will be on, let me just open my notes because I wanted to make sure I got it right. It's going to be August 19th, and it'll be 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And it's going to be a town hall session. So our interim executive director, Sarah, will be sharing a latest Beer and Center news, as well as giving us the results from the survey. So the survey has gone out widely as a way to assess, it's for the instructors to understand how GAB is being used and how the Beer and Center can better serve the guided autobiography instructors. So today's session, we're going to have Gord will be giving us a presentation about using YouTube. But before that happens, I'm actually going to switch my host hat into a presenter's hat with Angie Turner. Angie, you want to wave? So Angie and I are the Beer and Center has now expanded its programming. And if you go on the website, you'll see a number of different classes that are now being offered. And Angie and I will be launching a new series called From Page to Screen. And it is, we will explain it all to you. So we're gonna do a short presentation to explain to you what From Page to Screen is. Great. Angie, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Okay, so I am Angie Turner. I am in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, one of the Canadians here. And my background is kind of varied. So by day, I am a technical instructor at the U of S in vet pathology. And by night, I am a GAB facilitator, a legacy specialist, death doula. So originally, I had actually taken Page to Screen, this class, or a version of it, with Heather and Mike in 2024. I think it was shortly after the last summit. And I absolutely loved it. It's basically a combination of all of my favorite things. And so I decided to jump right in. I completed both level 1 and 2 of digital storyteller facilitator training. And I've been working with clients one-on-one and doing group workshops privately and through the university where I work ever since.
Great.
That's me in a nutshell.
That's you in a nutshell. And so I'm Heather Alicia Knox. I use my middle name actually in Mexico because no one can say Heather. And I've lived in Latin America actually since 2011. I'm originally from Vancouver, Canada. I'm a nonprofit leader for the last 30 years. And my husband and I co-founded a project in Guatemala where we lived and worked on site. And while I was there, I fell in love with documentary storytelling photography, and then got trained in digital storytelling, and then as a GAB instructor. So everything story related. And then in 23, my husband and I moved to Ajijic, Mexico, where we live full time now. And Ajijic is 40 minutes south of Guadalajara, and it's a huge expat community, mostly retirees. So it's a lovely location on a lake and perfect place to work with people at this final chapter of life mostly. I'm also working, so I started teaching From Page to Screen, and I've worked with a number of other individuals to help them learn how to create their own video stories. I'm also now working on a film festival here in Mexico where we will share stories of 3 Mexicans and 3 foreigners or Canadians or Americans that live here as a way to bridge the 2 communities. Because as we all know, through storytelling, it's a really profound way to connect with each other. So let me. My thing's not moving forward. Okay. So what is digital storytelling? Oh, Angie, you're muted.
All right, here we go. So I thought about how I would tell you guys about this, and I decided that instead of going deeper into like the facilitated 4-phase process of like finding and telling and crafting and sharing of your story, which is, you know, the physical process, that I would rather take you on a little guided journey instead, so that you can get a feel for what a digital story is instead. So I want you to close your eyes for a minute and just think about this time when you were considering investing in this digital storytelling class you've heard about. You're not quite sure what to expect, but those who have taken it have raved about it, so you're a little curious and you decide to give it a go. You arrive to your first class online with your favorite GAB story. It might be the one that poured out of you onto the paper, or maybe it's the one that you had to drag out kicking and screaming because it needed to be told. You spend the first class getting to know each other, and with the help of the facilitators and the other participants, you start working on focusing your story that you brought with you from 1,000 words down to, I don't know, somewhere around 300 to 500. And you work on it that week, and then the next week comes story circle. You might be a little nervous or maybe just excited as you read your story with this new small group of supportive people. They share with you the parts of your story that resonated with them, and you're thinking, well, so far this feels a lot like a GAB group. But then they begin to discuss what imagery came to their minds as they heard your story. And you're thinking, maybe this could be interesting. You haven't really thought about imagery for your story before. You listen to their stories and consider their feedback on yours, and it sparks some new ideas for you about how you could make your story into something more. Maybe for the first time, you start thinking about how you want others to feel when they hear and see your story. So with the facilitator's help, you design your story with impact into a 3 to 5 minute narrated script. You narrate your story with skill, ensuring that through your voice, they will be brought into your story. They will begin to feel what you felt. Then you gather your personal photos and videos and lovingly choose which ones will help you tell your story best. As the images begin to transition into one another, you feel it starting to come together, but there's still something missing. And then you find the perfect music to draw them in to the meaning behind your story. Yeah, now that's it. It's all coming together now. The focused story, the narration, the images, the music, they're all working together as one. Now you're feeling good. You did this. This is the way your story was meant to be shared. You brought your story to life, and you feel like a weight has been lifted. It was obviously a story that you needed to share in this very special way. So now we get to the final class, and you're gathered together with your group. You're not nervous anymore because you've gotten to know each other quite well. And you're so impressed with the beautiful stories the others have shared. And some have even used the suggestions that you made of ideas of imagery in their final pieces. And now it's your turn to share your digital story. And you hold your breath as it plays with that natural worry of what others will think of it. After all, you did need a little help on some of the technical stuff. So then you watch them as they smile and tear up at all the right moments in your story. And you finally release the breath you've been holding. Now, it wasn't easy to be vulnerable like that, but the responses from the group afterwards make it all worthwhile. Not only did they see you in a way that you've never felt seen before, but they also noticed things and took meaning from your story that you hadn't even realized yourself. It kind of feels like a big, warm group hug. You cannot believe that you hesitated to sign up for that class, and you can't wait to share your stories with others. Your eyes have now been opened, so you can open yours. Now, Heather will be sharing a digital story later, but hopefully you have a little better feel for what's involved in a class now.
Yeah, so how do they work together? So, Angie took you on a good journey to give you an idea of it. So, I think usually the hardest part is taking it from 800 to 1,000 words down to 300 to 500. But that's where we have lots of experience and have been working with people. So the process is to get your story, then record your story in your voice, and then you start looking for photos that match it. And then, as Angie said, filling it with music and your images. So it's a very personal journey, and it takes it to another whole level when your voice is included in the storytelling. So these are Angie and I have posted images of some of our stories. So Angie's going to tell you a little bit about some of the stories she's worked on with different people and herself. So go.
So yes, we work on all types of stories with all types of people. So this first example that I have here is Barb's story, and it's called There I Am. And it was the story of how she managed the invisible physical and mental challenges of an adjustment disorder. The second one, called Wake Up, was Richard's story that we worked on together. And in this story, he shares how he transformed from alcoholism to a life of meditation and spiritual connection. This next one here is called Jenna's story, which is called Choosing Myself. And her story was how she, as a veterinarian, navigated the gap between like expectations and the reality of her first position as a vet, and the challenges of managing her personal well-being through that process. And then this last one here, called Victim No More, was actually my very first digital story that I created in my class with Heather and Mike. And it was from a Branching Points GAB theme. And it was my story of the loss of power as a child and how I regained it back as an adult. Now, for me, basically, this story was the reason I became a digital storytelling facilitator. It was such a powerful personal experience for me that I desperately wanted to share with others. And so most of my examples they might seem like kind of heavy stories, but they certainly don't have to be. They're simply meant to be about meaningful moments. And now Heather has a few more examples that she has done as well.
This is one I just completed with my pottery teacher, who founded a pottery studio down here. She's 81 years old, and she's looking at what succession will look like, and for people to understand how she created this from her heart and passion. The Invisible Child was one I did with my husband, Greg, who's also a GAB instructor, and he took his family story from GAB classes, and we brought it down to 400 and something words. And he has great images that go with, and tells his experience about being the fifth youngest child in the family, and how being invisible was actually a positive thing in his case. So Dr. Greenberg is a friend of ours. He's turning 91 this year, and we did this when he was 89, and it's basically a legacy message to his family and friends, and a lovely takeaway that'll live long past all of us. This is a story I took, Shaking the Family Tree through the Buren Center. It's a great course on starting to look back in our family. And I created this digital story about my dad's journey from Ireland. And I don't have all the info, so I had to use a little creative nonfiction. And each of these is a public video. The storyteller always has the option to keep the story private or make it a public thing, and to decide where and how they want to show it. So, whoops, I'm going to show this story now. This is a very personal story that I created. It took me a while to feel okay to tell it, because it was so emotional for me. And it's the story of my dad's passing, and how why it became so important to me. Okay, sorry. Running the Project Somos Children's Learning Village. I need to get back to Canada. I am on a... Sorry. I have to mute. I have two computers going, so I'm going to mute one. We are in the midst of a worldwide pandemic. I am living in Guatemala, running the Project Somos Children's Learning Village. I need to get back to Canada. I am on a plane with a mask and a face guard. I am crying. I don't yet know that I have only 40 days, a number that will become too familiar. As always, my camera is with me. I make a decision to document this journey into deep grief and loss. I spend 2 weeks in complete isolation in mandatory quarantine. I am in an apartment looking out on a stark, bitterly cold lake. There is no Wi-Fi. I save all my phone minutes for an online photography class that becomes a lifeline. It is very serendipitous that all the assignments during this time are self-portraiture. I document what this isolation, dread, and sadness feels like. I am grateful for the distraction to focus on something beyond the intense sadness I'm enduring. Even now, the photographs are hard to look at. They take me back to this very difficult time. And I am grateful I chose to document this story, as it is now a part of our family's story. I know I'm going to lose my dad. Will I get to see him again? Will he be able to hang on until I get out of quarantine? Time crawls. 14 days has never felt so long. I have not seen him in 18 months. These last 2 weeks are the worst of all. I finish my quarantine, test negative, and make my way to my dad for 1 day. And then the ambulance whisks him off to the hospital, and I don't see him for another week. I am aware of the ticking clock. Each day apart is another lost day. I feel there is so much we need to talk about before he goes. During one of our precious visits, he pulls out the family box he has been working on for years. He spreads everything on the table. He hasn't had a chance to properly pass on the information to any of us. Dad has always been the dedicated family historian. He gathers stories and traces the family tree. He has kept letters, tickets, performance reviews, and report cards. He does a DNA test so that he can make more familial connections, most back in Ireland. As a child, Dad traveled from Ireland to Canada. When his father died, he, his mom, and his sister returned to Ireland. Canada had become a part of him, and as soon as he was old enough, he journeyed back to Montreal, where he met my mom. After their Irish honeymoon, decades would pass before he saw his homeland again. Both my mom and dad were intrigued with humans and their stories. They were excellent listeners and could draw out people's stories in no time at all. People felt seen, safe, and loved in their presence. When we were living in Guatemala running Project Somos, my dad would come and join us at the height of our volunteer season. He would be the on-site host, connecting with everyone that was there. He would inquire and listen to their stories. Throughout my life, my dad was always my biggest cheerleader. He would have been so excited about me becoming a guided autobiography instructor. He would have jumped in, writing his memoir 2 pages at a time. He would have added the stories to our family archives. Oh, how I wish I had been able to make a digital story with him. I would have recorded him sharing a meaningful story from his rich life. His calming voice and beautiful photos would have filled the screen, and I would have had this to watch again and again. Sadly, I do not have this historical keepsake to cherish and to pass on to his grand and great-grandkids. I know my dad's influence brought me here today. This work as a story doula feels like it was passed from him to me. How do I even begin to describe the honor I feel at being able to listen to someone's story, to hear about the wounds they've carried since they were 7, to learn about their battle with cancer, to discover they are caring for a spouse with dementia. Grandmas are often the stars in their stories. Family cottages provide very special memories. Meals and food memories play key roles. These stories touch me deeply, and I feel so honored when people share them with me. 40 days after his diagnosis of pancreatic cancer, my dad died at home surrounded by his family. 10 years earlier, my mom too died 40 days after her cancer diagnosis. I was with them both in those final weeks. Time moves faster than we think it will, and we may not have as much as we hoped or anticipated. Sadly, I will never be able to hear the rest of my dad's stories, and I will always live with that regret. That realization is my commitment to help others preserve their stories and the stories of their beloved family members. I do this work in honor of my beloved father, Dennis Knox.
Well, I need a Kleenex. I'll be right back.
Who said that?
Ken.
Well, thank you. Oh, sorry. Okay. Got to get myself unwrapped. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So as you can tell from the examples Angie and I've given, a digital story can be pretty much about anything. These are some of the ways I tell people to think about doing a legacy message, like Larry's, a tribute to someone like I did for my dad, a family story like I did for Shaking the Family Tree. I did a eulogy for a dog of ours that recently passed. Challenges overcome, as Angie showed. Medical journey. Interestingly, Dr. Mike Lang, who's our mentor, that's where his focus is a lot in the medical journeys after his survival with cancer, and an origin story. So for me, that was the pottery studio that I did with my teacher. And of course, the ideas are endless. So in our class, these are what would be included. You'll get expert guidance to identify and craft your story for video. You'll use your voice, your photos, videos, and they'll be featured in the story. We also provide full access to a stock library with images, videos, and music. We provide technical support along the whole way. We can work side by side with you because the platform allows for multiple users. So it's hands-on training with WeVideo, so you can keep making stories. So if you have stories you want to create, or you have students that want to learn how to create, this is a great, easy way to learn. Then we'll export the video so you can use it for personal use or professional. And then, as Angie said, we'll end with an intimate screening and potentially a larger one. We did that last time and invited the GAB community to watch the stories that were created, and always a safe place for your stories and ideas. Go to the right screen. So Angie's going to tell you about a really cool opportunity.
So yes, in May, I offered a digital storytelling workshop for the photo managers at their virtual conference, because I'm a member of the photo managers as well. And I selected 4 photo managers to create stories with me. And we have a free virtual screening on July 27th at 1 o'clock Eastern, where they will actually be sharing the legacy digital stories that they created. So if you are curious and you want to see more stories about other ways that it can be done, there's 4 each one took a very different take on the project. So we have, I believe we have a link that we're going to put in the chat.
It's there now.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just put it in there now, or you can grab that QR code.
So yeah, register for that and come watch. They did a fabulous job, and it would be very similar to what you would be doing in the class at the very end.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
In my last GAB class that I was facilitating, one of the ladies brought her story. She brought photos where she took pictures of herself as a teenager. Um, and then I don't know what the term is, but superimposed it with a picture of her mother, in their little village that was in China. And then she did it again when she was older. Her mother had been gone. But she kept doing these pictures that were as if she was growing with her mother, even though her mother was gone at different stages of her life. I don't know how is that part of this kind of
Well,
work?
it sounds like she could do almost anything with that. That's pretty profound.
It was absolutely amazing. She shared it with her story, but it was her as a teenager with her mom in this little village, and then as a 30-year-old with her mom in this village as an artist, which she wasn't recognized as an artist as a child. And I don't know, and the class ended and I asked her how, and she just said, just Google it. And that's as much as she gave me. And that was it.
Yeah, maybe she's already put something together. It sounds like she's quite artistic.
Yeah, I don't know how she did it. Yeah.
But maybe send her to this photo manager screening that Angie's doing if she'd like to learn more about it.
Oh,
We
that's a
also
great idea.
Yeah, we also do virtual screenings with Common Language where we're both trained. The next one's at the end of September.
Okay.
And then Angie, you want to talk about this and I'll put it in the chat.
Yes. So if you're interested in checking out our class, either before or after coming to that virtual screening, we have classes starting through the Buren Center Thursdays, September 17th to October 29th, 7:30 to 9:30 Eastern. There will be 7 classes, and we're keeping it small. 8 is the max because, again, we are there with you every step of the way, technical and otherwise. So there's lots of one-on-one and lots of hands-on. And so if you're interested in checking that out, you can scan the QR code, or I believe that we have another link.
It's in there.
It's in the chat. All right. So that you can sign up.
Great. Sounds great.
Such a beautiful person. Thank you. May I have a minute to talk about the guy? Yes. Yes, of course, Julie. We would love to hear. Just any other questions for Angie and I before I let Julie talk, and then we invite Gord to give his presentation. Oh, is that a okay, great. Well, thank you for your attention, and hopefully we'll see some of you in the class. Barbara was here. She did the class with, and Teresa did the class with Mike and I back in the day. Julie, you want to go? No?
Yes, thank you. Heather and Angie, thank you for such a beautiful presentation. I'm kind of choked up. Really so touching.
Thank you.
I just wanted a moment to remind everybody that there's an opportunity to sign up for GAB instructor writing groups. You've probably read the posts that I put up on the community forum. And as of this past week, we've had 21 people sign up for instructor writing groups. And I split them up into 5 groups according to preferred time, day, and time zone. And I sent out the emails just a couple of days ago. And so I just want to make sure, because I see some familiar names here. Did you all get the emails, those of you who, you did? Great, okay. So, yes. And so I will be touching in periodically with on the forum to let new instructors have the opportunity to sign up, and these are groups where we get together and write to themes and share our stories as we do in the classes that we lead, and I will be touching in just every few months to see if everything's going all right, if there are any problems, or if there are any issues. So that's all. I just wanted to provide that reminder.
Julie, I think it's wonderful you're doing this. Are you picturing it once people get in there, it's an ongoing thing for them moving forward?
Yes, I've sent people out names of cohorts. So most of the groups are 5 people, and some are a little bit less. And it's up to each individual group to contact each other and decide amongst themselves a time to meet. Very often these groups would meet on a monthly basis, and hopefully these are ongoing groups. A lot of these groups have gone on for years.
Great.
And
And
also, yeah.
the groups are creating their own themes, correct?
The groups can use any themes they want, so they can either pull from the existing resources from all the Beer and Center books and so forth, or from the themes on the Beer and Center website, or you can create your own themes.
Great. And are you picturing or assigning a leader, or is it all co-created?
Oh, thank you for asking that question, Heather. Um, it it depends how each group wants to do it. In some cases, each a group will assign a given person the role of being the host and the coordinator, or other groups may rotate that role. I do ask in the email that I sent out that each group establish a point person, a contact person that I can be in touch with. So if there are any particular issues, or if I want to update you on anything, I have a single person that I can reach out to.
Great. I'm so happy to hear this is happening. Thanks, Julie. Are
Thank
you
you.
ready? Are you ready, Gord? Are there any other community announcements that I've omitted, or people need to share something? I don't know if Michaela has anything, or any of the board members. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, Gord, I'm handing it over to you.
Excellent. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'd like to say first thanks to Sarah and Heather for inviting me to speak today. It all kind of came up pretty quickly, but I'm really happy to be here. I took my GAB training in the spring of 2022, a couple of years ago. And after that, I got to meet and get to know Cheryl. And she, a couple of years ago, encouraged me to create a course that would help GAB instructors create web pages. So I developed an online coaching program. And I basically, we did a live kind of group, and then I created a sort of hybrid live coaching and some the online information. I think actually there's a couple of people in the room here that actually took that work. Lately I've been kind of getting back to that, but also getting back into my real passion, which has become YouTube. So recently I became a member of the Beer and Center board, and my first task with them is to help develop the Beer and Center's YouTube channel. So, but before we get into that, let me just ask, and I can see everyone here, so put up your hand if you have ever had have you ever put a video up on YouTube? Just put your hand up and wave. I just want to see how many. 2, 3, 4. That's pretty good. 4 out of like 20. That's really good. So then you're in the right place for what I'm going to tell you, because if you've already done this, then you'll get a kick out of what I'm going to say, and if you've never done it before, I'll try and speak clearly enough that you actually get it. And there's a point where after you can ask some questions. And in the middle of this, we're going to break up into a couple of breakout rooms where I have a couple of things for you guys to kind of answer a few or discuss a few questions. So, having said that, let's take a trip. I get you to close your eyes here, but let's take a trip down the Wayback Machine to where YouTube got its start. It was founded in December of 2005 by three men who worked for PayPal. And video at that time was becoming more accessible to the general population. And the technology of filming and editing was now allowing everyday people to access that medium. More and more people had cameras, and the internet made it possible to share video, but it was still not easy. The intention behind YouTube was to make the process simple, to upload, to share, and to watch. And in less than a year, it had grown so quickly that the company was bought by Google for $1.65 billion in stock. $1.65 billion, imagine. And at that time, there were already 100 million views per day. And in 2007, Google and YouTube started their YouTube Partner Program, which allowed certain contributors to share in the ad revenue. From that point on to today, the platform has exploded. Now it's grown to the point that there are about 5 billion individual views every day. And with YouTube Shorts, there is 200 plus billion views every day. It's incredible. So today, YouTube is viewed on not just on phones, it's on computers and also TV. There are about 1 billion hours viewed daily on people's televisions, which is over 13% of all TV time in the US. And it's now beating out Netflix for viewing time. So as individuals, we have the opportunity to create a channel to be part of this wave. How well individual channels do regarding reach is related to the number of subscribers and the retention level of individual viewers. The retention level is related specifically to how long viewers stay and watch a video. The longer they stay, the higher the retention value. However, before we get into channels or subscribers, let's clear up one misunderstanding, and that is that YouTube is not just for people trying to become famous or rich, because most don't. It's not about becoming an influencer or a YouTuber. It's about seeing YouTube as a gentle way to help people find, understand, and trust your work. YouTube is primarily, it's an entertainment platform. It's a search tool, it's a teaching tool, and it's a trust building tool. People can find your channel in three ways. One, you direct them to your channel, or two, they stumble upon one of your videos because the YouTube algorithm put it in front of them. Those are the videos that YouTube is suggesting when you log into the site. And thirdly, they can find you if they search for something that is related to what you have to offer by asking questions like, what is guided autobiography? Or how do I write my life story? Or how do I preserve family memories? Those are what people are searching for. And those are the exact kinds of questions that GAB instructors can answer. YouTube, it's not necessarily a stage or a TV studio. It's really just a place to be helpful, visible, and trusted. The challenge with GAB is not that it lacks value. The challenge is that many people do not yet know what it is. YouTube can help with this in three ways. First, it helps people find you when they are searching for life story, memoir, legacy. Second, it helps people understand GAB because video gives you more room to explain the process warmly and with greater clarity. As witnessed by what we just saw in the previous presentation, those videos like so powerful. One little 5-minute story put in a way that people can relate to, it's so powerful. And the third way is it helps people trust you before they ever contact you. And that's an important one, and we'll get back to that in a little bit. So YouTube helps people move from, I've never heard this, to this might be exactly what I need. So I want to spend a little time talking about the biggest fear that most people have and one that stops us from moving forward. I don't want to be on camera. In case I talk too quietly, I don't want to be on camera. And it's totally understandable. Over the years, I've recorded many people on video, and the number one concern is about how they look. Did I look okay? And there are often many reasons for this, and also some easy to address solutions. Some of which have to do with the technical aspects of video production, which I won't go into here today, but there is one solution that is a possible option for even the most shy among us. The camera is optional. Your message is not. YouTube does not always mean having your face on camera. You can use voiceover slides, narrated prompts, photographs, as we've just seen, simple text, screen recordings. Think of these as recorded conversations. And I know that everyone in here has put together at least one presentation of their GAB work as part of their training to become an instructor, or in the Find Your Students, Fill Your Classes workshop that Sarah and Cheryl built. I've seen a few of them in the groups that I was in. I've seen a few of them, and I know that you are all very creative. However, most of these presentations had PowerPoint as their foundation, and you found creative ways not to be on camera. One of the people I follow on YouTube, Kevin Colby, thinks about his videos as if they were a conversation that he was having with someone in a coffee shop. He also says to think of the camera as someone that you know well. Your message matters more than your face. People looking at GAB are not looking for a polished performer. People are looking for a safe, clear, and encouraging way to be present. Having said that, I believe it's important that you find ways to become more comfortable with having your face on camera, even for a short time. Sarah White and I just finished putting together a short video as an introduction for the course Find Your Students. The main body of this video was taken from her presentation at the GAB Summit in 2024. And the parts of her presentation she wanted to use were exclusively slides with her voice talking over it. I asked her if she would record a short video to use as the opening and closing of the piece. What I was after was to give the audience a visual sense of who she is. I wanted them to see her. So what I asked her to do was to record in the same way that she usually appears on Zoom, and not to worry about getting the text perfect, because in the editing process, any issues that showed up could easily be fixed. It worked out pretty well, but I'll put the link in the chat later and you can look at it and decide for yourself. So the question is not, am I ready to be on camera? The better question is, what helpful message could I share in a simple way? So right now, I think we should take a moment and I'll get Michaela to take us to some breakout rooms. And I'll ask each group to pick one of two questions to discuss and answer. And we'll take about 10 minutes for this, and when we come back, I'll get someone from each group to share what they came up with. And then I have a couple more YouTube-related things to talk about. So the two questions are, and I'll put these in the chat so that you can see them, but the two questions are, what feels like the biggest barrier to you in using YouTube? What feels like the biggest barrier for you in using YouTube? And the second question is, if you could answer one question a future participant might ask, what would that question be? What would they ask about primarily about the work, but about your work? So two questions again, the biggest barrier to using YouTube, or what's one question a future participant might ask, and like what would that question be? So, Mikhail, I don't know if we're ready to go off yet, but just say
Yep.
yes.
Yep, you're all set.
Great. So we're going to send you guys all away, and I think you'll get a hard bounce back to the main room. And I think also that there's probably a way for you to kind of click back in with like a minute to go. So take your time, and let's see what you come up with. And I'm going to put these in the chat right now to see if maybe you can take the chat with you. I think you can. Okay, off you go.
Technical. Michaela, hi, Michaela. Um, just needing the, just kind of a step by step how to make it look professional enough that it would be a good statement that would help lead to a website or way to make a connection.
Yeah, it's the same reason that you want to have a relatively clean looking web page.
Right, right.
So, well, you've come to the right place, and some of those questions you just asked me, I'll answer in a little bit.
Okay, very good. Are we, is the group coming back, or is this another group?
Yeah, people are going to be bouncing back really quickly. It's a bit jarring, that jump from here to there, because you have no control over it. Of all the things that we all have control over, that's not one.
Is it the closest thing we have to what's that called? Where you travel in space?
Time travel?
Yeah, to kind of like time travel, but or beaming yourself into another location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it could be like those restaurants that you eat in the dark.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't know what you're eating. You can't see anything. There's one in Vancouver. I haven't been to it, but I'm probably.
Well, we'll all have to go there when we're all.
It's a bucket list thing.
We're in Vancouver, Gord. I've never heard of it.
I think it's on Broadway somewhere, but it may be old news too. It's restaurants come and go.
Yeah, they do.
There was one in LA. I think my son might have gone to it. It's pretty crazy. A lot of trust.
I've been curious for sure.
So how did everyone do? Did we, what question, I never asked you to appoint a leader in your group, but I bet whoever wants to speak up first could. How many groups were there, Michaela? Was there 4 or 6?
There were 6.
6 groups, okay. Well, let's get going then. Who wants to be first? What question did you ask or answer, and what did you kind of figure out?
I'll go. I'm happy to go. Okay. Well, our group was overwhelmingly tech issues. And I said, well, Gord has actually helped me with tech issues, and he's really, really good at it. But we were all going, we just don't know how to do the tech issues. There was also kind of a strong preference to doing in person, and how would doing a YouTube fit with creating in person. So that was just a question that we felt could be, by doing a YouTube, it may not influence someone in your own town to do it, but maybe it influences someone who knows someone in your town. So there's still that link, and it just raises the profile overall of GAB. And the other thing we discussed briefly was just being maxed out on other things that need doing. And I know 2 of us definitely felt that way. I certainly did. And we had one other person who definitely said, I just don't have time to learn something new and do something new. So that was kind of, those were the broad strokes of where we landed.
Very good. Very good. All very reasonable points. And it probably is the major stumbling block for people actually to take that next step. And the YouTube thing for us as GAB instructors is a little for us to be able to put ourselves out there and say, here's what we do, right? Here's my work. Here's how it works. Here's the answers to those questions that I know you're asking. What is it? How do we do it? Do I have to be a writer? Blah, blah, blah. So it's we're in the same way we have a web page that says what we do. This is like the live or as live as it can be, where they get to see me or they get to see you talking about what you do, right? So, but I get it that there's like there's like so many things that you think you'd have to do, and it's partly true. Who is in another group, or who wants to speak for it?
I can go. We had a variety of needs for promoting or not at that yet. And for me, serendipitously, this, Gord, that I just started a YouTube channel to break down the services that I offer as a GAB instructor and a digital storytelling facilitator. And I had to push past the blocks that I had about it. I know how people can be super mean online, so that was one of my concerns. And then one of the a couple of the questions that we thought of course, were blocks from our students. Well, I'm not a writer. My life's boring. I have nothing important to say. So I think addressing those questions head on when we're in one-to-one does make a difference. And I really appreciate how you framed it into allowing people to gently get to know us. And I think that's one of the greatest opportunities of it. So I think that covers ours more or less.
Very cool. Next group. Sign in, step in and sign in.
I could be next.
Okay.
So I said in the chat, our group had similar answers to what everybody's already mentioned. So I don't know if I'm really going to add more to it, but.
So what was the one thing, if there was one point that really kind of stood out? Which question did you answer?
So it was feels like the biggest barrier.
Okay.
And I would say it's the technical, and then also the thought of you've got the YouTube video you upload, but then where else do you need to be, just thinking about even that big picture website or social media or, that sort of thing. And so just that overall, it's not just the YouTube to think about, I guess. And then in general, we talked about just the various things to think about of, and to set yourself apart, because with the one aspect of the YouTube, you got all these videos, right? So how do you set yourself apart?
Do you know how you do that? It's very simple, actually. You just be you. You just honestly, you be you like you were right now. That's how you set yourself apart. But really good questions. So next group, and a few more things that we're going to talk about. I'll answer some of those too. So who wants to go next? Group number 4. Don't be shy. Or be muted.
I think I'm group 6. I can talk to that.
You're one of 6. Yeah.
Yeah, a very similar stuff. You're busy and you haven't tried it before, so it's one of those things that's going to take a lot of time because you got to learn it and then figure out what you're going to organize everything and put it all together. So then it becomes something that you just put off. And then, this was biggest barriers. And And then, yeah, fear of the unknown. If you just haven't done it before, you're not quite sure what to do with that. So,
Right. Very common. Okay, group 5 of 6. Or 4 of 6.
Well, I guess I can jump in. I we talked really a lot about the priorities and where everybody in the group was, so that was a barrier for most people, I think, in our group, just our priorities in terms of what we're doing in our lives. But we did do something slightly different, which we addressed the second question you asked. If we were to make a video, what's the type of question that a participant might ask that we could do a video about? I think that's what your question was. But
Yes.
anyway, and someone actually did a great job. I wish we were recording her when she did it. And she said, people would want to know, like, do I have to tell everything? Like that fear of coming into a GAB group and having to reveal it all. And it's kind of ironic. I won't call the person out. They can self-identify. But when she was speaking, she did a great job answering that question. So I thought that was pretty amazing. Are you gonna fess up?
I think she just
You're on
did.
mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
That's a really good question, though. That's not.
Yeah, it's a great question.
It's a little kind of, like it's like the question directed to you about what's the barrier for you getting into YouTube? What's the barrier for you getting into GAB, right? And that would be a big one, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So whoever it was, that's a really great question, and I wish I heard the answer too. Maybe you could share it later. Or you can make a YouTube video about it later, right? That would be something, and it doesn't have to be really difficult to do this actually. So I think there's one more group, right? Stop me if I'm wrong. Anyone in a group that, if you look around the 20 people that are here, do you see the 3 other people that were in your group and know that no one's spoken up yet? Or was that 6 groups? Michaela?
Oh, brave. I'll speak up for our group.
Okay.
We kind of talked all over the place. But I think the biggest fear that came through was the fear of technology.
Okay.
Yeah. And being in front of the camera.
Right. I'd say that's a big one. That's the one that you wouldn't say, I don't want to be on camera, because then, that's like saying, oh, I'm too shy to do this. But technology, we can easily blame technology. So at some point in time, over the next year or two, everyone will realize that this is as simple as talking on your phone. That's how easy it is to do everything that YouTube has to offer at this moment in time. So thanks for doing that. That was a little exercise that I was interested to see what people would say. So now let's carry on with the show. That would be the 10-minute bell for that section. So let's talk about how YouTube helps people discover you. A video may not make people register instantly, but it can begin a quiet path from curiosity to connection. I'm thinking now of all of us as GAB instructors and how we're presenting ourselves into the world. So you want to take someone from curiosity to connection. Someone may start with a question, I want to write my life story, but where do I begin? And then they find your video and they hear your approach and they begin to trust you. Then they visit your website and they join your email list, or they attend an introductory session, or they ask about a workshop. You've got stuff, they want to know about it. You're just being authentic in how you share it. That is the gentle marketing path. A person searches, finds your video, begins to trust you, takes one small step closer to your GAB offering. So I'd like to take a few minutes now just to talk about some YouTube terminology, just as a way of background. So a channel is your home base. It's where all of your videos live. Subscribers are people who want to hear more from you. A title tells people what the video is about. A thumbnail is the visual invitation to click and view the video. We've all seen this. Every time you go onto YouTube, you'll see down the right-hand side of the screen, there's a little picture and a title. And it's that little picture, it's called the thumbnail, that is what inspires us to click on that and to watch the video. So the thumbnail and the video work together in this way, and that's what's called packaging in YouTube terms. So that's the packaging of any video. And it's probably the single most important part of the videos that you make for your business, as this is what will inspire people to click on and to watch. A hook is what happens in the first 10 to 30 seconds of your video, where the audience decides to stay and watch more or click to the next shiny object. The description is the text that you find below the video. It explains the video. It gives people a next step, such as visiting your website or contacting you. None of this has to be fancy. It just has to be clear. And the last two things of note are the subscribe button and the like button. Subscribing to a channel helps with its growth, and it shows the YouTube algorithm that you like the videos that you see on that channel. I often subscribe to a channel, especially if I want to see more of what's being, pardon me, more of what they're making. And the last button is the like button. This is now an important piece of information for the algorithm, almost as important as viewer retention. Because when you click on that, they go, oh, they're all trying to, YouTube is essentially trying to send you more stuff that you like, which is probably why if you've looked at, a series of videos from one person, lots more of things on that subject matter will start showing up. And until you go, okay, I'm going to trick the algorithm here, and I'm going to start watching something about monster trucks for a whole bunch, just so I can stop getting all that stuff that I just wanted to learn about. I'm not tricking you, YouTube algorithm. I'm really not. So when you first begin this journey, you don't need a full YouTube strategy. You don't need hundreds of videos to start. You just need one helpful first video that answers the simple question: what is guided autobiography? Do I need to be a writer? What happens in a workshop? Why write the stories in a group? Or whatever questions you think that your audience wants from you. And then invite the viewer to take the next step. So my introduction to YouTube happened in 2008 when a colleague of mine on a TV series we were working on introduced me to it. He was starting to shoot real estate videos, and he asked me to do some editing for them. And he told me about this fabulous new place to post videos. Looking back at it, it was similar to the revolution of the iPhone, which happened about the same time. Videos were relatively easy to upload onto YouTube, but the quality was not great. We noticed that the big players, like movie studios, had great looking quality, and it probably related to the amount of money that they were putting into the platform, while the rest of us had to get by with lower quality of playback. I didn't get back into posting things for another 10 years, partially because of that. I was like going, well, these just look like crap, so why do I keep doing this? Anyway, by the time I got back to it, the quality of playback issue had been solved. The thing I find interesting, though, is those first few videos, they're still up on YouTube, which was the only way I was able to date them when I tried to figure out when did I actually do those. I actually thought that was longer ago than that, but so what this says to me is that there's a lasting value for YouTube as a storage space. And this can't be overestimated, in part because storage on YouTube is free. It's not essentially free, it is free. The way that YouTube works is that you always have the option to make your videos public or entirely private. So there you could put as many videos as you want out, and no one's going to be able to stumble across them because they've been marked as private. And they're just lasting. So I looked at one of these videos from 2008 that I edited, and I went, yeah, it still looks the quality looks still just as crappy as it did then. And but you can't go back, and that's how it goes. So as it relates to our work as GAB instructors, you don't need to become a YouTube professional. You don't need to be like, there's millions and millions of people who are contributing. You don't need to be that. You only need to help people right in front of you. Help the right people find you. Help them understand you and help them trust you. And that's just being exactly who you are, right? You're not having to be, no one's here wanting you to be Vanna White. They just want you to be who you are. And of all, when you think about this, of all the Zoom recordings that we've all been on tons of video, right? It's really no different than that. So before we finish today, I've got one small action step for you to take. Sometime in the next 24 hours, try and do this. One, and it's partly related to the questions that we all debated or had discussed. One was, write down a question the future participant might ask, and then create a video title to go with that. So, and the video titles are like 4 or 5 or 6 words, right? What's the question they asked? How would you title a video that might actually intrigue them enough to watch? Or the second thing you can do is choose one camera video format that you could try. Slides with a voiceover, photo presentation with a voice, PowerPoint presentation with you in a small circle that's in the bottom of it, or a full on-camera video. Now, I'm not asking you to do that, but choose one format that you think you could do and just kind of let that percolate. Because if you do one of these two things, you will have already moved closer to having a YouTube presence for your work. So as I continue working with the Byrne Center on its YouTube channel, this is my request. As I keep doing that, I'm looking for a couple people to work with me on this special project of the Byrne Center YouTube channel. So if you're thinking of creating a YouTube channel, but you don't know where to start, this would be a good opportunity to learn more about the process. And I'm also developing an online course to help GAB instructors use YouTube and simple online tools to promote their offerings. So if this has made YouTube feel even a little more possible, I'm really happy, and I would be happy to connect with you after. You can reach me at a couple of different places, gord@thebyrnecenter.org, or I'd invite you to come and check out the new channel that I'm just working on called Online After 50. I'm kind of repurposing my one-page web site channel to this new thing, which has become now my passion, which is to help people get over those technical issues that they have. So anyway, I've started a site called Online After 50, and you can find this YouTube channel, and I'll put these in the chat, at youtube.com/@Gord_online after 50. And while you're at doing that, check out the Byrne Center YouTube, where you can actually see the YouTube thing that we did with Sarah, and the YouTube channel for the Beer Center you can reach at youtube.com/@the Beer Center. But before I end, I just want to leave one last thought, and that is, and this is what I find is the power of YouTube. It's the gift that each of us has to offer. One clear message, one helpful video, and one meaningful connection at a time. So thanks for listening, and I'm happy to take questions or
Gord,
that would be it.
can you put those links in the chat right now? It's much easier
I will do that right now.
before people start hopping off. Also, do you have a video that you've done as an example?
Yeah, well, that would be at the YouTube page that I've just started. You can see a
Okay.
couple of things.
Linda has a question. Go ahead, Linda, unmute.
Yeah, I don't I'm having some technical problems today anyway but the chat for me is just popping up and then going back down, and I'm not seeing anything. Is anybody else having that problem?
No. Weird.
Okay.
But go ahead, just ask your question on
No,
video.
that was my question because I
Oh,
wanted to
that
be able
was
to
your
see what
question.
was. I
Oh,
wanted to be
weird.
able to see what was in the chat, but
Okay. Oh,
I
I see
can't.
what you're
There's nothing
saying.
there.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Strange.
Okay, sorry, we can't help you on that tech issue.
Sorry.
Other questions for Gord?
You say that you are going to be teaching a class as to YouTube?
Yeah, I'm just starting to develop it right now.
Okay.
If you go to the web channel that I'm just starting, you'll actually see a couple of videos that I just made, and it will give you an idea of some of the things that we talked about today and other things. But yeah, I'm in the process of putting something together for that.
So yeah, click on those links if you can. And then so they open in your browser while we're still on the call.
But you can always just reach me at gord@thebeerencenter.org.
Great.
Right.
It's another thought. It's interesting that Angie and I presented the same day that you were presenting about YouTube. In the link to the class from page to screen, Angie talks about digital storytelling and ties it to her work, and I talked about it in mine. So you could, if you wanted to take our class, you could make this something that introduces yourself to potential clients and something you could put up on your website. It doesn't have to include your face as a start. It could be, as Gord talked about, talking to a slideshow and just showing people who you are, which is my biggest takeaway from what Gord has shared today. And I'm all over it. I believe in exactly what you're saying, Gord. We don't want to make this hoaxy. We don't want to make this in your face. We want people to connect with us and get excited about writing in a GAB class. Yeah, Mickey.
I just thought of something else. Do you recommend or not recommend, if you did a YouTube spot, to include an email address as opposed to a website?
When you start a YouTube channel, when you create a site, you have the opportunity to put in it links to a website, or a link to your email address, or a link to your Instagram account if you have one, or there's you can actually add in 4 or 5 different places where people can reach you, right? You'll know that when you look at a YouTube video and you see the little circle with the person's picture on the bottom side, you click on that, that takes you to their channel page where all that information is, right? I always go and check out people. I want to see, have they been making videos? Is this one that I watched from 10 years ago, or is it from 2 weeks ago? And what have they got to offer? And that's a place where you have a little kind of, the page is that information, basic information about who you are.
If anybody's done what Gord's talking about, I'd love to see them if you want to put them into the chat. As I mentioned, yeah, so there's Angie's. I just did this myself and I sent it out on my mailing list. And basically it's guided autobiography explained. What is it? And so that's mine. And then I have another one that I'm about to produce. It sounds too fancy. I'm about to record. So we've actually reached our limit for the end of our GAB chat for July. Again, the next GAB chat will be on August 19th at 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And Sarah will be hosting the town hall. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. We love seeing you all here, and I hope everyone's having a good summer/winter if you're down under. And Gord, thank you for sharing. It was incredibly insightful and helpful and inspiring. And it would be nice to start to see if people do them and what comes of that. So thank you, everyone. Thanks,
Thank you.
Michaela.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Thanks a lot.